Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. But I want to bring your attention to a show that I'm going to be having tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm encouraging all of you, those of you that are listening to this video, to tune in tonight, because perhaps this might be some of the reason why we have all of the mess that is going on in our own country. Because you have to listen to these things. These things, the trouble we've been having in Liberia didn't start overnight. These are things that's been happening from time to time. There are those who came before us, past generation, failed to recognize these things, and will continue to repeat them. And because we ourselves have not yet able to recognize and see if these things can be rectified, so that this country, beautiful country of ours, can be built just by our hands as Liberians. It doesn't matter who you are at this point. Concord country, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're all one another. We're all one country, one people. But if we do not understand why these things are happening to us, we're most likely not going to be able to find solution. So I ask you tonight to join me.
Yet, how does one begin to help people who swim on their own flooded streets to voting booths to vote incompetent criminals back into office?
Yes, that is a big question we all have to answer. How do you help people who will go to the voting booth swimming in their own flooded streets just to vote people in offices who are incompetent? And those incompetent people that are being voted in offices will also appoint people who are also incompetent. So this is like a big deal. How do we help our brothers and sisters to make sure that their voting rights are utilized effectively? They have the voting cards. They must be told how important their voting cards are to all of us. And so I'm saying those of us that have this platform, this is not time for hate. You don't come into this because you hate. You must do all you can to educate the voters themselves, how important their voting cards are. Because of their vote, our leaders be able to do what is right for our people. Join me this evening as I try to explore this particular question and many more that will be coming. Join me this evening at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, where we will take on this question and be able to see how much we can go. With your help, we, the Liberian people, will be able to educate our brothers and sisters that have the right to vote whoever they want, but they must do so with responsibility. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much.
C'est autiste-moi, encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique n'a pas voulu que nous. Quand il y a Sylvie, il a quoi que j'ai vu presse. L'Amérique n'a pas voulu que tu m'as bien demandé en ce moment. On va battre au moins, on t'a dit à mon moyen, on s'est battu pour moi, il pleure. Avec la locale.
Doing anything that people get to amend it. And with me from 2005 to date, we're all doing anything. I've done something. Trust me. I'll be re-elected. You understand? So you don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy your country. You don't need to even condemn your country. You have to be inspired, peacefully, and then convince the people, persuade people. Politics is about persuasion. And it's about what you have done for your people. I have done so much that I don't need pay for. You know why I don't need pay for? Because Liberians love me and they promoted me when I was on a soccer page. You understand? And they were proud to be Liberian when I was on the soccer page. And I've done my best for my country. I'm a former peace ambassador. It doesn't matter what people say. I'm on record.
Yao, abela lokeyo, bivito jobai, bivito inoba, matisi mokeyo. Manager Gigi, ouais que jamais forcé ou, si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noscan Yassin de Toyebi, l'homme a tout fait pour Mivito, Anichi les deux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, and largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have roads? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities on the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about putting road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going, and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
But we will prosecute and will confiscate assets that people steal and acquire by illicit means. I often say that in Liberia, when people get caught, they send their wife, they send their children, they send their relatives, whatever, to come and beg. I'm saying the Liberian people, don't come and beg. Don't come and tell me, oh, stand to help you get elected. He talk nice about you on the radio station. Now he's stealing, so forgive him. Stanley should have known when he was stealing that we're going to punish him. So there's going to be consequences. That's the first thing. Then we have to make sure we're paying people a living wage. So we did the arithmetic, we did the math in 2017 that when you look at policeman's salary or healthcare worker's salary or teacher's salary, by the middle of the month, the money finished. By the time they pay rent, they buy food, they pay the children to eat, and of course, they're not going to starve, right? So the policeman will pull you over, the teacher will accept bribe, they change grades.
Good evening, folks. Samson told Labron Public Radio. We're here again tonight. We say thank God, of course. Thank you for all of you tuning in and watching. We say thank you. A wonderful Friday afternoon. Please stay safe. Let's continue to pray for one another. Safety, my Lord. We want to thank you again this evening for bringing us here. We ask you, my Lord, to protect us, guide us, continue to bless us. My Lord, we ask you that all of us in the diaspora, Liberian diaspora, put ourselves in your hand. We ask you to put the country, the Republic of Liberia, in your hands. We put the leadership of the Republic of Liberia in your hands. The opposition leadership of the Republic of Liberia in your hands. Most importantly, my Lord, there's an election that is coming up, and we put that, including the whole country, in your hand as well. But thank you for the opportunity that you continue to give us, giving us these opportunities. We utilize it, and we will make sure to do what is good by you. We ask that the host country, the United States of America, be blessed as well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Folks, I'm not going to be here that long here tonight. We have other issues here we're trying to take care of. But welcome, LPR, Liberia Public Radio. Welcome. It's a wonderful thing to have you here again tonight. We are going to be going straight into the subject matter here very quickly here. Today, the news coming from Liberia, Spoon TV are calling to the news story, been closed, was shut down today. So let me go right away and bring in Mr. Goya. If you're ready, just put out your thumb and we'll bring you. Okay, let me bring him on. And so the Spoon TV was shut down, and the government of the Republic of Liberia immediately think that they have not done so many times. They did not waste time with this one. They say we got nothing to do with it. I think it has to do with the Ambassador Waka came out and wrapped it around their neck. And this is the first time that I've seen the Liberian government, a spokesperson for the Liberian government, running so fast to the microphone to distance himself. I don't know what to make of it. But so Spoon, according to the story, was sued by the gentleman who would believe, said that Spoon and his CEO had wronged him, injured him, and whatever it is. And so he's taking it to the court. And the court, I'm not too sure yet, but they decided that they were going to close a radio station. I'm not too sure what is happening there, and I'll go deep into that here as well tonight. Mr. Goyer, thank you very much for joining us. We're not going to be here long because I try to take care of a few things here. But what do you make before we go on to the other stuff that I'm going to be playing the video of tonight? What do you make of, man, your microphone is not easy. It's going blue, going red. It's all over.
That's how we can test when people talking truth for Liberia. You
Oh,
see, when you not see red or blue or white in there when you're talking, then we know you're lying. You're talking about that.
but anyhow, so what do you make of this Spoon network being closed? I mean, are you familiar with the story, by the way?
Yeah.
What do you make of it? I mean, and the government, I mean, for the first time, I would say that the government didn't even waste no time and just came out distancing themselves, not only distancing themselves, but they also in the process accused Ambassador Baka to try to politicize the whole issue. What do you make of it?
So how can the closing down of, I can say, the most watched network in Liberia not be politicized, right? So it was easy to accuse Ambassador we are politicizing it. Was just it's funny. Even the fact that the government responded made it political.
Yeah.
But here is what I'm gonna say. I am not going to make assumptions here and try to tie this on the neck of the CDC, of the executive. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that we have an independent judiciary in Liberia. We're supposed to have an independent judiciary in Liberia. And so when the judiciary act, we need to respond with the assumption that the judiciary is independent. Now, having said that, there are quite a few things that bother me about the action today. This is a private citizen suing a private entity. And the judge in a civil court, this is a civil case, already executing the person that's been sued before even hearing the case. Why do you shut down the network before hearing the case?
I really don't know what
and how do you get a civil lawsuit? You have not even adjusted penalties. You have not adjusted the value of the hurt to be assigned to the person who sued, and you've already shut down the establishment. How does that make sense? So I think this judge is an activist judge. I think this judge is out of his or her league. I really believe that we should discuss this in the confines of what is the process. So if I sue my brother tomorrow, whose son I gave my paper color money to go say and him bring it, they went to your house and close it down tomorrow right away before we go to court. This is a civil matter. I can understand if this were a criminal case, maybe a case wherein you are accusing people of treason. Then you say, well, we appeal to the court to have a temporary shutdown, but you can't have a civil lawsuit. Without hearing the lawsuit, you send sheriffs. So what happens if it turns out that Spoon Network did not wrong the individual who sued? Do you then pay back for the revenues and the losses? Who pays that? The Liberian government? It's just, for me, this was the weirdest part I've seen today. Because initially when I seen the sheriffs at the Spoon Network, I was trying to figure out what was going on. But then when I found out that it was a civil case, and it has not even been heard yet, and you shut down the People Network. So for me, I don't want to judge. I don't want to blame the CDC government because I don't have any data, any hard data, and I don't want to make an assumption and say that it's all about the CDC government. But if we are just looking at the judgment of the judge involved in this, this is pure. I don't want to say a word before they come sue me and take my own house from me here. But it is weird.
Yeah, but I think at this point though, I think if West CDC-led government will rush, not just rush, they ran to the mic to distance himself, I think the Justice Department need to step in that to make sure justice is served.
Well, no, Mr. To, I would not like that. I think.
No, what I'm trying to suggest is for example what you just stating. I mean, what criteria this judge is using. So the Justice Department, I'm sure they have, all of these judges have cases, different cases go before them. And they have these lengths of criterias that each one of the, if a case falls within this bucket, this is the application of law that will be applied for that. So I'm saying the Justice Department should be versed with those kinds of information. And therefore, on this president, as far as I'm concerned, the freedom of expression is rampant. I will call it that. We cuss each other and what have you, but I would give him that. But then the Justice Department now needs to step in. If the judge is out of bounds, then he needs to be called to order. Or the Supreme Court immediately should step in and say this is not going to stand. By tomorrow, they should come back to reverse this judge ruling. So Spoon Network can continue with it. Now, it is not about defending Spoon Network so much as it is trying to see Liberian law I'd apply evenly and fairly, So I think this is, I too been reading this thing, but here's the other thing that I thought happened here. The fact that the government and Ambassador Baka rushed to this thing, they then, I believe, their involvement somehow slowed down the true investigation, because their involvement becomes the news. Whereas journalists who are supposed to have gone out and find out exactly what is happening, they're going after the big news right now. And so if you go on all of these newspapers coming from home, is the government respond and Ambassador Baka respond, engagement and the government respond is the bigger news. Whereas if they were to stay out and let this thing play out, I think we would have gotten the true story by now. But I believe by tomorrow or Monday the most, we will get a true story.
But look, in a democracy such as ours, where you have three equal but separate branches of government, the Justice Ministry is a part of the executive. So the Justice Ministry cannot reverse or chastise a ruling of the judiciary. I think that there has to be a mechanism for judicial review.
No, but sister, let me hold you there. I'm not a lawyer, and please, if it comes to that, I think you're much more close, even though you're not a lawyer, but your involvement, community engagement, or what have you. So I think you're much more closer in that realm than I am. But this is what I'm saying: the Justice Department, I'm sure, don't have to wait for Spoon lawyers. If the Justice Department feels and find that this judge is out of order, or the ruling is not within the standing of the Constitution, they can go to Supreme Court themselves.
Well, yeah, but here's the problem though. This is a civil case. Again, remember, it is similar to the case that was if you cost my mom, Mr. So, and I think
God forbid.
Sorry about that. And somebody say I'm entitled to all of your jackets that you wear, your traffic jackets, and can take all of those, so you will stand down when you're supervising the people making the road and the vehicles can see you no more. That is a civil case. And if that ruling is wrong, I have to go to court, but I can also request a judicial review. So for me, I don't think the Justice Ministry has much of a standing to get in here. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that I am laying an assumption that in our democracy, we have a truly functioning three separate branches of government. And the judiciary branch is truly independent. That is a huge leap I'm willing to make today. And I know a lot of people will push back. I get it. I understand. But here is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not saying anything out of order. Constitutionally, they are independent.
Right.
And,
And so when you have an activist judge not sitting in a court deciding constitutionality, right? Because if this was an issue about deciding constitutionality of an issue of a matter, then you have the Justice Department or the Justice Ministry can come in and file a brief, either as a friend of the court or whatever they're going to do. This is a civil case that has not even been heard. And so this is akin to me saying that tomorrow I will send my representatives to sue an employee of the Ministry of Information for feeding me lies. And so I will see it as George will shut down ERBC until we can have the investigation. Or that they said something that was so offensive that impugned my character. And without even you judging, having a preliminary investigation, you shut down. So you've already carried out a verdict. Without even allowing the other party to appear before you. Because you shut down, and this is the thing that I found very offensive. There are smart people, really smart people, that are not willing to take off their partisan hats or not willing to take out their individual opinions, however way they determine this to have been caused by Stanton, Witherspoon, and his Spoon Network. And they are out there celebrating. And I'm seeing some offensive posts about, Unity Party, why you're mad that a CDC government shut down CDC station. Again, it starts slowly. What will happen if this were allowed to stand and somebody else went and sued a network that is looked at to be partisan or in the interest of the ANC or maybe in LPP? Would we then say it's okay? I think what we are missing, the last time we tried to drill down to this about nationalism, is I don't have to propagate for ANC to defend the right of ANC to exist. I don't have to propagate for your Unity Party to defend the right of the Unity Party to exist. I don't have to propagate for the George Weah government to defend the right of Dr. George Weah to exist. We just have to be truthful. And I think this is where we are lacking, because I'm seeing a lot of people that I respected, and I say respected because they lost my respect, that posted a lot of funny stuff about this thing. Forget about Stanton. Yeah, Stanton has been accused of committing a crime. Yeah, let him go to court, and if he's found guilty by American law, let the law take its course. But that does not negate the fact that the man still has rights. You can't just go sue somebody and then the judge declares an action already without even allowing the person to go to court.
This has always been my confusion on these people, because many of them are educated. Many of them know better. But because of their political hat, not even political ideology, but because they want to look good and say, "Oh, I'm a man speaking for us," they're willing to say any kinds of ridiculous things that they know in the intellectual discussion will not hold water, but they will bring it up anyway. They'll bring it up anyway, and these are the people that are really hurting our society, because people look up to them. But they come out and make this ridiculous statement without thinking twice, that when they talk, other people reading about their piece and what have you. But anyhow, So right now, I think what I was going to say earlier was this, and I'm leaping from the Empire State Building here without parachute. Maybe I'm getting ready to put my foot in my mouth, but that's okay. I'm very good at that. I think the judiciary has it in for the press. Just a few weeks ago, they pretty much called in Ronnie Shea from Page Africa. And these are the same, those are the same lower court. If somebody say you're corrupt or whatever, you guys, first of all, you are in public, you are a public figure. They can sing your name anytime they want. You know? But if you think you can't make it, people like me, I can't make it because I'll be fighting all day. That's why I'm not there with them. That's why I'm way out here. You know, but to do these kinds of stuff, where, and I would say politically, I would say the only good thing going for CDC as far as I'm concerned right now. Well, there are other good things, but I'm not gonna spend on those good things. I will hide them. I will talk about the bad things. But anyway, no, on a very serious note, the only pretty much good thing that CDC can boast about internationally, they don't have political prisoners. The press freedom in Liberia is running amok. And for these people here to come and do these kinds of underground judiciary system, because first thing, many Liberians on both sides, many Liberians are now trying to drag the government into it. Because why? I mean, Liberia is a country. We all know that Georgia cannot do these kinds of stuff without somebody higher than them being informed. They can't just get up and do it. It's just don't happen. Because if you do, I mean, you don't want your job. You know. So I don't know for fact, speculation, but I think the only good thing that CDC had going for them, I think, is being chipped away by this judge ruling. I hope by tomorrow, I call it, Spoon TV will be back on air, because this is ridiculous. They need to stop it.
So in most democracies, the out of leadership party always seeks to tie everything to the party that is in leadership. Even right now in America, the issue with the case of the former president and an independent judiciary issuing they tie it and say that Joe Biden lawyers, I mean judges, right? So that frivolous attachment of a judge's ruling to a political party in power exists. But I think ours is just profound, right? And that's what is bothering me. And let me be very clear. There are no freedoms that are absolute. Every freedom comes with a responsibility
and a price.
And a freedom of expression comes with limitations. You cannot just get on the air and impugn the characters of people and you expect there to not be a reckoning. Now, having said that, the way that reckoning happens has to be in line with the laws. And that is my problem. If my brother who sued Stanton Witherspoon and the Spoon Network feels that his character has been impugned, I empathize with that brother, because I don't know, I can only imagine what it means for your families and your loved ones to watch people say negative things about you that are untrue. But he did the right thing by going to court. Now, the judge, I think, became so hyper activist that he took actions before allowing Stanton to be able to have a fair representation. And I think that's where I have the problem. If at the end of the day, they are going to court and find Spoon Network lie and they did this, and you find them and they can't pay the money, and you say we seizing their property to liquidate it in order to make sure that they pay for their civil responsibility, that's a different conversation we're having. But you haven't even gotten to that point. And I watched the tape when the sheriffs show up, and Spoon employees and other journalists were asking them what was the issue. They refused to speak. You know, and so for me, this is sad. This is sad. And when you are you raise an issue about the Rodney Sear issue, defamation of character. The higher you are in public office, the more leverage or the more freedom people got to talk about you. The harder it is for you to prove defamation of character. That's why we can sit there and talk all the thing about Joe Biden and talk all the thing we can talk about Trump, because the higher you are in public office, you can't sue me for that, right? And so I think people just have to be tolerant. Dr. George Manawia signed a law, the Abdullahi law, that allows people to be able to speak their mind and speak their freedom and be accountable to their harm, their cause. But I just think this was a rush to judgment. And again, I am not going to lay this at the feet of the executive until I can see otherwise. Yeah, I know what happens in Liberia, but I want to be very careful, because sometimes some of these things happen with people just trying to prove to the leadership that, hey, I got your back. Y'all see me what I'm doing. And sometimes it is not the asking of the executive. And since I don't have any proof that the executive asked them to do this, I am just going to deal with what I know happened, that the judge rushed way ahead, and this should not have been the first action to be taken.
Okay. Sissy, thank you. We will go on to the next subject matter here, which I introduced yesterday, by the way. So the ambassador, before that, Sissy, today is Friday. CDC, that job we are looking at Denzel. You watch this. Hey, my uncle coming down. Papi. Yeah. That's Ambassador Baka dancing, folks. So that only president we are gonna do Buga alone. Ambassador Baka can do Buga too. So I thought I'd show you that one. No, but since so the ambassador had a press conference the other day. And I think you and I talked about it. Well, you spoke about it on the phone yesterday, a little bit of it. But the ambassador press conference, if you just read from the press report, they didn't do it justice. Then if you listen to him, it's really bad for this government, to be honest with you. Let me just play. I got 3 videos that are gonna help me with the conversation here tonight.
Let trouble. I never know sunka for you. Jay, keep playing the video.
I never know. Let them come. What cut out. Let it come. See, they put their foot in their mouth, and I'm trying to help them how to get it out. The man giving your money, the government of the US giving your money, almost paying your rent, buying you bag of rice. Then the man say you share the bag of rice with your children, and he said, "Oh, I ain't business at my house." The man he just finished buying you bag of rice. Oh, then he claiming that your house. Where he come and say, the man not want to buy a bag of rice. He bought the bag of rice. He bought the chicken soup. He bought the oil. He bought the kesali, the palm butter, everything. All you had to do was to just cook and share with your children. Yeah, one of them cooking and eating when it's messy. But what happened to them? They don't worry about it.
But in the man house, what you ain't eat it become 21. So
Yeah, you see that? You see that? So let me go ahead and play the first one here. The first one. It's very interesting. Let's listen here.
I discovered that I used the wrong dollar figure in my press release after my trip to the Southeast. I wrote that Parliament had spent $65 million on itself in fiscal year 2022. I'm sorry, that was the wrong figure. From the unaudited statements of consolidated fund account of the calendar year 2022, released by the Ministry of Finance and Development, we can now see that the correct figure was $90.8 million for Parliament in FY22 out of a total budget of $811.6 million. So that figures out to around 11% of the national budget.
11% of the national budget goes to the Parliament. And when he came out first, he said it was 65. You think CDC will let it go? They know Samuel Tower keeping record. You think they will let it go? No. But Honorable Buffer Timber and Honorable Albert Chair decided to attack the man. The man said, okay. So a few weeks ago, he came and pressed. They go, the man forget you going, man, there man go. I said, okay. Last minute of time. He said, oh, by the way, when I came out here the last time, I said I was 65 million. No, that was a mistake. From their own record, from CDC own record, they said that 90-point-something million, that's about almost 12% of the national budget that goes to these people. Say, I got two more. You want to respond to each other, or should I just go and do my tabata, continue with the video, then you can wrap up?
Tabata, let's see these people beat down with topic.
Let me play. So another thing here, they decide to put Porcupine and the rest of the people in a race. So the argument was, according to CDC and the sedition, when they ready to put their phone in their mouth, they can't even ask me, say, Mr. Toll, can we? Instead, they rather just do it. So according to sedition and CDC, many people, their supporters, that they said they asked the embassy, can a sanctioned person be put in the race? And the embassy say, yeah, you can do it. Huh? We are listening to the man now. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Hey, I don't know. But I'll be careful before they sue me too now. So I'll be careful. But
whatever Samson Toll says here is not a view of Liberal Public Radio where you're shutting him down, you don't shut all that.
Yeah, sue me. But let me play the one here that the ambassador now. Listen to this.
Next, I would like to address the false reports that the U.S. Embassy was asked. These are false reports saying that the U.S. Embassy was asked about nominating sanctioned individuals for office, and that the embassy replied that this was okay, this was all right. Well, the embassy is not okay with it, and we find it disappointing that political parties are nonchalant about the global Magnitsky sanctions. The U.S. Department of the Treasury spends many hours and other significant resources to research and approve sanctions on each individual. Though the embassy is separate from the Treasury Department, we fully trust and respect the validity of these designations.
You hear that? Now, the interesting language you need to take on in case CEC retain power. America, he said America, they spent resources, money to investigate. And they think, yo, just sit down there and rub it in their faces without them coming back to say something. But here's the last video that I'm going to play on this here, where now you can see how bad he's feeling for us as Liberians. How bad he's feeling for us as Liberians. Listen to this one. Listen to this one.
Liberian government entity has even formally taken up our accusations to initiate an investigation to determine the veracity of U.S. government allegations. This is extremely disappointing and discouraging. That said, if the voters of Liberia wish to elevate to public office individuals who've been sanctioned, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, you feel real bad for us. That says if the voter in Liberia, if they can see reason to elevate, sanction whom the people consider corrupt, you're going to put them back in there. That your business. That what he's saying. So I'm making light of these things here, but they're very serious. This is coming from an ambassador who's going to be leaving very shortly. And I'm sure when he leaves, whatever document he's going to be leaving behind, I'm sure things like that at some of the places you will put red star for the incoming to pay attention to these things. Because corruption is not something that the American, well, they're corrupt here too, of course, but to have your people money going places and nothing good coming out of it, I don't think these people are taking this lightly. So
And people were there celebrating that ECOWAS say Liberia should take the position to go to the Security Council, as if to say that would just be a cakewalk. Look, what people don't understand is that the ambassador of the United States of America, wherever they are accredited, carry out not their personal agenda, but a foreign policy agenda as invasion by the president through the State Department. And so to think that this one ambassador is going, another one is going to come, and they're going to start all over, they're not going to care about what the ambassadors are not coming with their own foreign policy ideas. And in this climate and culture in America right now, where you have a significant portion of the American population through their representatives in the House asking questions and trying to get America to start to look inwardly more than outwardly when it comes to giving out resources. You're seeing that with Ukraine, where you got Republicans arguing that much money should not be going out to Ukraine. And you have a case where the Department of the Treasury haven't done a researched investigation, found people guilty, and we're taking it for a joke. Like, we don't know what we're playing with. Because there is no political party, there's nobody in American politics right now that is willing to put their political capital down for that. Not even Joe Biden. You can't be abusing and misusing the tax dollars of the United States citizens and think it's just going to be something somebody's going to be laissez-faire about. But on a greater scale, and that's why I said it last time. When you don't separate political parties or the hierarchies of political parties from hierarchies of government institutions, this is what happens. If Mulba Molu acting as the chairman of the CDC had lambasted what the ambassador came up with, that's a fair game.
Because he's a chairman. He's a chairman of
and if the ambassador came back and made a correction, it's easier for the political party to marginalize and come back with why to maybe either temper down or even expand more on it. But when you are the mayor of the city of Monrovia and acting as a secretary general to a political party, how do we separate you, the mayor, from you, the secretary general? And I think that is a problem, and I don't think that problem is unique to the CDC. And I think that is something that we all need to look at. People that are trying to replace the CDC government. What are you going to do differently? And when you get these reports, I was doing a workshop today, and I was telling my teachers that when you send a report card home, when you send a gray sheet home, what are you trying to communicate?
Because a report card is a tool you're using to communicate. What are you trying to communicate? Are you communicating to these families that their child is stupid, is dull? Or are you communicating that there is a gap in understanding? And are you telling them what are you going to do? So when the ambassador or the embassy of any country comes out and say that we found that you are spending 11% of your budget on the salaries of your legislature, how are you interpreting that? Are you interpreting that as an attack that you are dull, as your child is dumb?
Yeah.
Or
But
that's here is a system check that this teacher is telling me my child is missing certain things. I need to call them and say, hey, how can I get my child to get to his or her full potential in your class? What do I need to do? And what are you willing to do to help me along the way so that we tag team? But the government is not looking at it that way.
No, they
look at it as somebody passing judgment on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the CDC government would have gotten a lot of brownie points from me if they had said, okay, fine, the math is there, the numbers don't lie. People who don't know numbers lie, but the numbers don't lie. It's 11%. If it is, you go back and you check, yes, it's 11%. Okay, we understand that. We are a striving democracy. We get that we shouldn't be spending 11% of our budget on the salary of the legislature alone. We are asking our partners in progress, how do we do differently? And that is not saying that you don't know what to do, but you are asking a question in a way to see, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Ambassador, after calling us out, after telling me my child got an F in your class, do you have a recommendation on how
can't do that? They are not able to do such because they already attacked the man. But here's the interesting thing here on this whole thing. You're making on a very serious note, Sese, and you're quite correct, as usual. You're quite correct. And that is what the ambassador have said here. It's not necessarily meant only for Liberians. It's for the partner, the international partner. If the government of U.S. can come publicly, ambassador, not even a spokesman of the embassy, ambassador to say publicly that 11% of your national budget going for salary for a few individuals in the country, $90 million, and you expect the donors, the partners, to continue to pour money in there with your corrupt behavior. And then when I tell you, say you put your foot in your own mouth, then you get angry with me. You want to come back and say, why do I have to say? That's exactly what it is. Because
and it's the problem people get when you their foot in the mouth business. You gotta find a different way around.
No, that's their foot in your mouth. That's how a whole human being can take their own foot and put it in their mouth. That means that person is so careless. That person don't even care. Because in order for the foot to go in your mouth, you got to bend your knee, break your knees, and you don't care for that. That's what CDC will do for you. But anyway, I don't know. Now that I define it tonight, it's so funny for myself. Okay, these are my brothers and sisters. One of the interesting things, most of the sedition that are founding father of CDC, people that I know that know me. If I one of them came up here the last time and called me names, even though I didn't pay attention, that's my first question. Call me name. My own nephew in Monrovia used to call on this radio station and used to chastise me, and then people would go back at him. But no, say they on a very serious note, the partners that are bringing in money, and if they go back, what kind of explanation you expect them to give to their people to say you just give up money, we want to help Liberia? Yeah, we don't mind you helping Liberia, but look what they're doing to their own people. 11%. How many people we talking about? Are they 300 lawmaker, 500 lawmaker? That's the point. They didn't even fit 1 billion. They're not. They Tubman High student more than that. Elementary, both high school children, both high school students, they're more than a lawmaker. Even the total elementary student is more than the lawmaker. But they are getting $90 million, 11%. And the ambassador being general, I'm not going to be in general. I'll call it 12% because it was more than 5.
But we keep talking about missed opportunities, and people like to push the former vice president when he took responsibility for missed opportunities, squander, whatever terminology you want to use. This is a missed opportunity for the CDC government. The ambassador said in legislature, the executive, people working in the executive, like my uncle Tamakoji, you say, if you got to say anything, because you can't be quiet, that the judiciary is independent. The purse of the country, by law, is controlled by the House of Representatives. We are calling on our brothers and sisters in the legislature to look at what our partners are saying and see how they can make sure that in the next budget, they make corrections accordingly. You ain't calling one party by a name. You're not calling the people responsible. You just push it to the legislature. They got to get elected on their own. This is an election year, my man. We're fighting for you. And even to get re-elected as president.
If the likes of Jefferson Koji or even Monuba Monroe or even Samuel Tua would make that kind of statement, that gave the room for the legislature to cover.
Yeah.
That gave them cover.
Look, my people, you heard what our partners are saying. Yeah. We know that the mechanism we inherited from the previous government is what you work in, but we want to make sure that you start to break this apart and reimagine a different mechanism by which you are funding yourselves and the Liberian people. It's simple. You leave it alone. But you take it so personally. They throw yourself into it. That is what happens when you don't have tactics. When you are a hammer and everything you see as a nail, right? Everything you see as a nail.
They still think that they're still in 2017. They have never gotten out of 2017. They're still running campaign. They think that there's a war going on, campaign-wise, that is. Yeah. Okay? But the point is, on a very serious note, and I'm getting ready to put my own foot in my own mouth here too, but I'm good at that, and I'll try to redeem myself. On a very serious note, this is what have always been my argument. President Weah, as a former soccer legend, he's very smart. Don't take him for granted.
Nope.
He might not have the PhD, but that young man, very intelligent, very, very intelligent. But the issue that I have is that those that are around him refuse to accept and recognize that he's smart.
And so you're talking about the student companion intellectuals?
So what they do, they decided to pick on the side of soccer career, because when he's on the field, he enjoyed the cheering. It's always in the back of his mind. You play football after the game, people come to him, my man, yeah, you did. You said, my man, yeah, you did well today, yeah, my man. I tell you. But I don't know why the other man couldn't even start that ball. I came, but I was late. You start, because you feel you did something. And so they decided, these people are bad for our country. They decided to praise the president no matter what. The president told us over and over, don't praise me. It's me who's supposed to thank you. I got a video here. I'm supposed to thank you for giving me the opportunity. If these people have gone through with a president like that, I think they would have done something. But every time the other one will do is just praise the president. So the president doesn't see anybody saying, Mr. President, you can't do this. George, they were your friend, your own friend. You think Joshua ain't got no friend that he trusts? He does. My man, they want to part today. I don't think that's something you want to carry on. Well, why is that? I'm a president. Hey, my man, you're president, but not. You know, that kinds of conversation. You guys saw what happened with Mr. So and myself the other day. I'm not going to use that as an example because his one was ridiculous because it was a conservative idea that I wasn't. But you know, we have that kinds of relationship that I know he can't come here and try to be jealous of me. Of course, he's jealous of my liberal view. So who's the one? The man found the queen
When
of
you call the ambassador name Mr. Mali, can show other Mali, eh?
No.
Oh. Well, my sister Naka, I hope today part everything done.
No.
You mute her, Okoto. You mute her.
We can't hear you.
You make it flower while you mute her.
We can't hear you.
Okoto, you mute her. Or mute yourself when you make the flower.
Anything you're saying.
Or mute yourself. Hey, make the flower now.
You mind? I'm making flower you because I need you. I need you, Sissy. I don't care where your case is. I need you. So I'm not forcing with you. You can hit me. You can do everything to me. I need you. So I ain't forcing with you.
Yeah, my sister Naka again. She can make flower.
I'm making flower. You not getting me flower with you.
Where are you coming from? So you're going to
but we on air.
No, but I like the way my Loma sister can look when she appears.
We on air. Say we on air.
I'm a man. I can't say my sister looking for again.
She look. I mean, she.
You got a serious problem with my husband, Jenna. You know.
But no other serious. No, welcome, Koto.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you.
So what's I know we'll be here for another 15 minutes. So
something brought Koto also. So let us see
what brought you on?
I have to add my little 1 cent to the millions dollar you guys discussing here about. Okay. You know, as we hear, I was listening to Mr. Toll saying how the sedition can put their foot in their mouth, and then you were forcing with Mr. Toll about what he had to say it that way. But again, when you say something where maybe in English that the people don't understand, you have to translate it into the way they understand it. So if you tell a man you put your phone in your mouth,
don't enable the papi. I'm begging you, Koto. Don't enable him.
No, on a serious note, you know, this is a serious issue, and I think our people now listen. And when you don't listen, you will not be able to understand what you're hearing. Those are the words you will hear. And if you don't listen, you will not understand what you're hearing. And it has come to a point where, you know, everyone all had talk here. People will say, oh, we want, some of all they guess they were looking for a job because I don't know how many jobs I'll go look for. I can't even do the one I have here to go look for a job in Liberia. It's not an easy thing. But the fact is they don't understand that the people that are there, and for some of us, because of the law for our country, we will still try to, you know, contribute in whatever way to, you know, promote our brothers and sisters. For some of us, we come from a big family background. I could take my immediate brothers from there, but I will not take my father, other children, all of them from there, or my even uncle, my relatives from there. It's just difficult. There is no way we can exempt ourselves from the situation we are in. Okay, then we get to the discussion of what the ambassador said. Okay, like you guys rightly said, I was listening. This is a man, he's an ambassador. He's not even responsible to come and tell you whether he made a mistake or not. But this man came out to say the mistake he made to correct his mistakes. That is to tell you that, okay, we can make mistake too, but we need to be corrected. And you, if you make mistake, try to correct your mistake by people, you know, pointing out your A's and your wrongs, just to, you know, correct yourself for the next time. But I see sometimes for some of you, we all have our area of discipline. I'm coming in to contribute because I want in that area. Because I know my discipline area. I know when I give advice in that area, it will help a lot of people, you know, to be in our country. Like right now, as I'm speaking, I got my mom that just went to the hospital and she has to go to a hospital that is very expensive. that I have to pay for. But how many of our people over there that can afford to go to those hospitals? And this is what we're talking about. If I can't help all of you, there will be a way where I can my contribution to the government.
Let me push back on this.
Yes.
Good, brilliant idea.
Yeah.
But you want to help the people. Why, if the people you're trying to help don't want to help themselves?
That's what I'm saying.
Don't want you to help them. Then what do you do?
That's what I'm saying when you say put your foot into your mouth. That's the actual word, because that's what they're doing. Because if I'm helping you, you think I'm harming you. It's sad. Everything I was saying, I can't go now in Liberia to be frank to say I go looking for a job. They might not even pay me what I'm supposed to get, whatever it is. But even to anyway, if that's my country, if for any reason I have to make my contribution to my country, it's not because I want to go and make benefit or profit out of the country that I love. It is because we want, for at least if every one of us can get our daily bread, nobody will come begging their friend, for food. But the state that our country is in now, and we say our brothers and sisters come and attack us. How can a responsible man that were living in Liberia, you go there, they tell you, they offer you.
Caller, just hold on 1 minute.
The sister from $5 or $10 to eat.
You can make your point.
That's so sad. And because of that, some of us will continue to talk. And we just begging them, let them listen. I know you were saying something about Koji then. Koji, to be frank, Koji then are not responsible enough to know the responsibility of this country that is serving. Because to serve like a country is not as being a manager of an institution or managing your home. It's completely different. This is a country that you are, ahead of everybody in our country. You got to be on top of issues. When it comes to hospital, you know what is going on in a hospital. When it comes to school, but I dare you ask we are Jana, he will not give you a statistic or give you information on.
But if that's the case, then those people who are appointed to help me understand these things, they have to be responsible.
No, Mr. So get it this way. Let me be frank with you. Why do you think in our very institution, if you are here, like if I'm managing my flow, I go there, call my CNAs and call my workers there to have meeting with them. We do it because you want to be ahead of the problem. You want to know what is happening.
Yeah, but the people you just have a meeting with, they have the responsibility to tell you what's going on their wall.
But I have to ask. I will not wait for them to come and tell me.
Okay.
I will have to ask.
Let me take this caller.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let me take this caller, please, guys. Go ahead, caller. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Tor.
Yeah, good evening.
How you doing, Robert Zango?
Okay, Mr. Zango, how you doing, sir? What's on your mind?
It seemed like I interrupted a very important conversation. I didn't get the full gist of the conversation. But I was really calling to talk to you about this atrocity that's going on in the country right now.
What do you mean atrocity? What do you mean? What do you mean by atrocity?
Well, let me elaborate on that.
Yeah, please.
I'm talking about the closure of the radio station earlier today. I know a lot of people like to make comparison to the United States because of the similarities in our judicial system. But the difference in our system, however, has to do with the amount of corruption and amount of ineptitude.
That's another lama man on the phone.
I did not eat my school fee.
Okay.
So we're talking about the ineptitude and the level of incompetence that some of the Jews have.
Jesus.
Now, what I look forward to seeing is what would be the reaction of the Supreme Court. And I know they go to civil law court. But the nature of law, jurisprudence just by itself states that when there's a civil action requires one person suing another person. So if the company was named in that action, it seemed like people made the decision to execute the closure of the company's headquarters unjustly. And so one has to really look into it. And I'm hoping that the Supreme Court does get involved, because at some point people will have to start naming and shaming people in government. And I heard somebody say earlier today on one of the other platforms that things will change. The judges will have to be looked at, because we all understand that a lot of people have become very political, and people are unable to separate their function from the personal view. And if you are going to be one of those who are voting in the judiciary, and you're one of those who is unable to separate your personal view from what is before you, then maybe you have to be removed. Then maybe you have to be impeached, or maybe you just have to resign. I look forward to see what comes out of this, because I think it was unjustice flow.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say to you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's my brother, by the way. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zango. That's another lover man. Very smart, very intelligent man. But since you were going to make a statement, but before you do that, let me ask this philosophical question here. Perhaps you can help me. What the Liberian diaspora here, many of you guys, not me, many of you guys are highly educated, making good money, making good living. But when you are offered a job that pay you 1/5 or even less than that, but if it's a position, people gravitate towards those type of position, knowing full well they're not going to make the kind of money they're making here now. Why you think it is?
Well, I'm not going to try to read people's mind, but I will put it out here so people can record this. There is no job in Liberia that I would take on a tier 1 government, on a Joseph Baga government, on a Lieutenant Commis government, or on the next job we are government. I love to feed my family. None of them will pay me what I'm making here. So I'm not doing it. So when I sit down on the platform to talk, I'm talking because like what Koto said, if I can empower people in Liberia, the less phone calls I get at 4 o'clock in the morning, somebody waking me up at 20 minutes, I will enjoy my sleep, I will live longer.
So that's the interesting one. That's the same thing I've been saying. So basically, you're being me. You want them to do good so they can leave your money.
Let them do good so when I get in Liberia, when we open session, then I'm at work, I got to pay for the session. Let them have to pay for the session too, because they start making money. That's what I want. I want my brothers and sisters to be in power. So they can put a session for me. But I think Koto struck a very good point about that. The only thing is that, and I wanted to lay a little for you to think about a little differently is sometimes you are helping people and they don't really know that you're trying to help them. It's not like they don't want your help, but they probably don't even know that you're trying. And I will lay this out in a very simple example. I was out of state at a workshop. My 2-year-old had pink eye when I left. Her mom went to the hospital and she got the drugs at the pharmacy. To put it in the little girl eye, the little girl will fight. She ain't able to do it. They say, your daughter fighting me too much. I can't break her arm trying to put medicine in her eye. The little girl didn't know her mom trying to help her. She sleeps at night, her eye will close shut. And her mom got to be having the wet towel, wiping it to open her eye. I came last night and I had to play with her and I had to put an eye drop in my eye for her to see it go in my eye. I said, Daddy, get one. Do you want one? And then she will be on eye, put one there. Daddy got another one. Do you want? I had to put eye drop in my eye. I don't have the pink eye. She got a pink eye. But in order for me to encourage her, for her to understand that I mean good for her. And I know this is oversimplifying the issue, but I understand my sister's frustration that sometimes you try to help people and they don't know you're trying to help them. But we got to use this thing like how I did with my 2-year-old daughter to understand. We got to keep talking to our people like, yo, we're trying to help you. My sister Koto here in her career, there is, even as Minister of Health, they will not pay her constitutionally what the Minister of Health was supposed to make. It will be less than what she's making here. The point here is that when we get on this platform, we want our brothers and sisters to do good, so that you will live in well. So when you call me, I ain't got to be scared to answer your call. When I see a call coming from LeBron, I'll answer it and know that somebody can tell me, say, man, 3 days, And so it doesn't matter which government is going to be in place. But my work on this platform is to make sure that we are articulating issues so that whatever government comes in place, our people are truly liberated financially and economically, so that we can be able to have this conversation. Because I've seen too many of my brothers and sisters, people who were smarter than me when we were in school, when I go to Liberia, have been reduced to beggars. People who were older than me can call me Papi when I go to Liberia, simply because I got small money, you know, and I don't think that is right.
Okay. Well, thank God that we got 5 more minutes here. Let me ask Kotu this. Maybe she can help me. Kotu, the question then to you will be, and in fact, you might be in a perfect position as far as I'm concerned, because you have tested the water before trying to run for political office in Liberia. Why is it that many Liberians tend to gravitate towards politicians who will buy them chicken soup, cup of rice, and aku oil?
So you're trying to say
Instead,
Koto buying chicken soup, a couple of rap people.
well, if you are doing that, you're going to win. She didn't do it, that was she didn't win. But why you think people gravitate towards that? And instead of saying, okay, this person have a good idea that perhaps for the future going to benefit all of us, instead they gravitate towards people who will pay individual school fee instead of giving the opportunity to the community, so that the community members themselves will be able to pay their children's school fee by being able to earn a decent living wage. Why do you think it is?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So for my own experience, I see we have a lot of people that kind of lost. I don't know whether that's self-esteem or what it may be, because what I see is I always try to adventure. And to be frank, everybody that knows me know that I never even worked with government. When it came to the time when I was working with NGO, when the NGO started to scale down, I created a job for myself and employ people, because I didn't want to be a beggar. Because if the NGO had closed down, then I tend to sit there. There were many of my colleagues that when the NGO closed down, they were like coming to beg me. Reason is they don't make up their mind that, okay, I'm here for this time. 1-2 years time, I should be able to be, successful, or to plan my life from 1 year, 2 years. What can I achieve within the few years? And they are there. They are just like, their mind is just narrow. They only look at what they see today. And when you just look at what you see today, you only want to get, you become better driven. You get today and just eat, sleep, get up, and hustle again tomorrow to get your stomach filled. You don't think about, what will I do? Let me be hungry today, 1, 2, 3 days, and then have more to eat in the rest of my, for the rest of my life. Somehow, like for me, I came from a parent that could not even read or write. But the people were working, going in the market. I went in the market to sell for my mom. I went to sell oil, palm oil, pepper. And my mom would tell me, because you want to go to school. And my father used to actually set example. You want to be like this person tomorrow. You want to be like that person tomorrow. You have to work for tomorrow. I was said, no, I don't want to go to school. I joined friends. There were friends who were going, evening shift come, like in the evening. Let me I think about shift now work. But the evening time coming, they all dress up, they go in the street. And all of my friends that know that about me, they knew that my father never let me go out, because he wanted something in me. I would have acted rude or misbehave. But the thing is that we don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to sacrifice for 1 minute or 1 day to be successful tomorrow. And that's what killed us. When I started establishing a security firm, just imagine I had a master's degree. I went to establish a security firm. People started laughing at me in Liberia. Started laughing at me. Why am I going to establish a security firm with my career, my educational level? They didn't know that I was establishing a security firm so that I could create jobs for other people. When it came, like I was about, like, let's say 4 to 6 months time, that security firm started to improve. People started coming to me to look for a job. Even in my own business I was having in Barnesville, it started from just a drum of fuel oil. just a drum of fuel oil, because I had generator that I was running, and we used to buy the fuel by drum and to fuel the generator. When people started seeing me, every time I go to the container to take the fuel oil, they will come ask me how much you selling the fuel oil. So I said I saw the need that people wanted fuel oil in our community. That I started to sell the fuel oil by gallon. And from gallon, I started, by barrel, and then I had a mini gas station there. I didn't go city to say, oh, I've gone to school, I get my degree and this and that, and I up, but that's the thing our people are doing. The degree is there to be frank. People, they don't know is by affiliation. The thing is some cap that you put on your hair that is you granted to it will give you money. If you don't use the degree, it's useless. You can have your doctorate degree, you sit there. If you don't use that degree, it will not make money for you. And that's why our people don't know. And I think this is why we did. That's why our running in my community, that was my, education I was giving to them. But then, like you said, they wanted somebody who could just give it to them today. And when you get it today, tomorrow, that man has to get what he gives you today. And they get into power. The next thing, as you say, what they are all they're doing, how to get money. They're not looking at what people are supposed to get. Personal gain.
All right. Well,
our problem. We need to open our mind. Let not just be for today. Okay, let's make up your mind to say, okay, let me struggle and go to school today to be successful tomorrow. Let me start a business today. I can starve myself for a few days or months just to get our business, to a maturity stage. Then, of course, when I start generating income, I can now bluff or do anything. But we start a business, and then the first thing we start jumping into the profit. For us women, the next thing we want to go do our hair, you want to go buy the best of different shoes. Then that's the problem now. And because of that, our country is run like that.
Okay.
You see, they're not running on budget line. You just see the president will just say, bring money here. And we got the budget line there. But you going, taking money from the next place to transfer because you're not setting priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, madam. Thank you, Sissy. I was going to ask you guys to make a closing, but if you guys want to run that for 1 minute or so of your time, your closing, because I think we're going to spend an hour here tonight.
So I really wanted to close on something that is, I know every time you talk about improvement in government, there are people who don't listen. Nobody here said that CDC created poverty in Liberia. But sometimes you get people that listen with half of their brain and the other brain is off. So I'm not going to even go there route.
I will not do that kind of thing.
But yeah, sometimes it gets so annoying when you're having an intellectual discourse and somebody's here, they hearing their own set. But having said that, though, I wanted to talk about something that is not even political or based in Liberia. These video tips lately of Liberian women scheduling fights.
Yeah.
In the public places, in parks.
And here in the diaspora, you mean?
Here in America. People are driving from other states to other states. Women with children, married.
To go fight.
And their friends are recording it and asking people to give them stars to monetize their friends fighting. Hey, my Liberian people. For me, I saw that and my mind ran to mental health issues. Mental health shows up in so many ways. As an educator, I've seen that show up in my kids in so many ways. All I can tell my sisters and brothers out there that are thinking about this, think about what the internet does. It keeps those videos.
They're there for life.
Your children are going to go to school. Their classmates are going to see those videos. They're going to bully your kids based on your actions. Your actions are going to create social embarrassment, and mental health issues for your children tomorrow. Hey, my people, let's find a way to get counseling. But I think it is despicable. This is the second video I've seen in 2 days with grown women fighting, attacking each other in America. My people are begging you about it. And all I got to say, we need to find help for our people that need it.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, 1 minute, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sissy. And to be frank with you, it's a sad issue. That's why I don't know. I'm a Facebook fan, but I don't know. People, you will not find me easily honor those kind of scene. I just will not. Mistakenly, if I come and here, I just flip and go because it doesn't make sense to me. Actually, it's not educative. But you will see, check it out. Those are the kind of show that you see have views. You know, they have a lot of viewers because that's what a lot of people are interested to see. They don't go to educative or informative, program. They want to look at things like that. That is not, promoting us. But again, before I close, I just came, again to tell our people the reason some of us are supporting.
You forgot his name? You mean supporting President Weah?
No, she's supporting President Terry Milonga.
Yeah, Terry Milonga. I'm supporting him because I still believe in him. You have taken that Terry Milonga.
No, the uncle calling Milonga, that other male, ambassador. I can't call my uncle Milonga. You think I want to go, bro?
Yeah, he could have taken that money, and I also to my nephew or my son, Costa. That's not the end of his life. He has, he has a bright future. He a smart guy. I like him. He's smart. That one you can't take it from him. He's smart. But again, if you don't use the talent or career you have right, you end up being the loser, and you might not get what you want to get. You might not achieve what you want to achieve. You see, if you have actually maintained that senatorial seat business, that's somehow we have, we would have actually supported him to get to that level. But where is that carrying more now? Man. I can't.
Costa say that you just send to come for him or go to the people you see him. That's why you just text them. He say, "Tell Koto she didn't see me."
Okay. All right, guys.
So let's vote for Mbappe. He has an integrity, and for me, let's not look at that. He say he didn't get money today. He didn't get money today, but he can make you get money tomorrow. You can support yourself. You can take care of yourself. You can still take care of your children. Your children will be better off tomorrow. That's what we're advocating for. You're not advocating for yourself right now. Don't be better driven. Okay. Fight for tomorrow. Our country needs better leaders. And that's why we're struggling for better leaders. And let's try to elect him. The little thing, I think he has something I want to tap into that can help us Liberians. Let's do it and not let us not regret again to put in somebody that will regret tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mr.
Hold on, I get my cash app.
Thank you.
For what thing again?
You said today when I talk about him, but the ambassador, you said my cash app. I don't say nothing bad today. I'm waiting.
No, I was sending it to my niece. Now you.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Kato. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Again, folks, Samson to LeBron Public Radio, sitting again this evening for Mr. Soul. But I think the conservative idea need to rest a little bit. Let it liberal reign on LPR for a while. I want to thank all of you. I'm sorry we'll cut this program this short, on our show tonight, because we have other things we wanted to try to take care of. We don't want them creeping up on us. I know many of you have things to do as well. I want to thank you very much. Please stay safe out there, and let's continue to pray for one another. It is good to have these kinds of conversations from time to time. We'll be back Monday, and we'll pray and hope that you'll be here. We'll be here in God's name, so that we all will be on this platform again come Monday. With that said, good night, folks. Please stay safe.
Samson told LPR Public Radio. Good night, folks.